All right, guys. Hold on, I got my headset backwards. All right, let me lower the volume on my headset. Remove all of this stuff over here that I don't need anymore. Cool. All right, then, guys. Welcome to another live stream here. Or if you're watching this in the future, welcome to another video here, where I'm live streaming my game that I'm working on. But you know, if you guys are new here and never been here before, this is gamedev. I work on games and demos and all of that, and currently working on an indie game that I would like to release in the future. So that's what I'm currently on right now, and I'm going live streaming. I'm fixing bugs. Maybe there's some stuff that I can implement features that I'm able to within the stream, and that's basically, you know, the main idea here. And if anybody joins, then we can have a good chat over here. Cool. Let me make sure everything else is correct. Hopefully my audio is good. I'm expect it to be good already. Hopefully the stream is going well. Alright, so I'm minimize this. And we can open our Trello board and we can go over exactly what we have to do. So since the last stream, which I think it was Saturday, I've fixed some bugs that I would like to go over. So let's go through over all the bugs that we have right now. So we have a crash that happens when the game or editor closes, which I have no idea how to look into that yet. Just because I looked at the call stack and all of that, and there's nothing in there. There's just code that I didn't write, but I may be doing something that triggers it, and I have no idea what it is yet at the very moment. So that's what that bug is at. I have another bug that if another character, like either an enemy or an NPC, goes over in a pickup item and it triggers that area 2D, you know, that trigger volume, I can interact with it even though my player wasn't the one that actually entered that interactable area 2D. And I believe I fixed it yesterday, though I didn't test it. I just moved some code and expected it to work, but of course, you know, I still gotta test it. But I will leave that at a later time, just because I'm not working at enemies yet. And I would like to do some more tweaks with enemies or NPCs logic, which I'll bring up in a bit. I have another bug here that says hard to pick up multiple items that are nearby the same vicinity or the same tile, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to pick up items that I want to pick up. Let's say there's like 3 items in there and I only want to pick one of those items, you know. It becomes a little bit difficult, and I may be able to implement something for this today, and I'll bring it up when the time comes. The other bug is the fish from the outer world can be seen inside the cave when zooming the camera out. So for a reason, the fish that are in the outer world, when you go to the dungeon, it doesn't despawn the fish from the outer world, so they're just swimming around there. So I gotta despawn them. I believe I did fix this, and we can test that today because I did fix the other bug where it was spamming the errors, which I think I moved it over by accident. Yeah, I moved it over, but I tested it and I figured out what was the issue, and it was a really dumb thing that I added before, because I thought I was fixing another bug, but I didn't really fix it, and that messed up all my fish spawns. So I reverted that back, and it's back to normal. And the other bug, the other error that I was getting and what's the reason that I did that, it didn't came back. I never saw that error again, so very weird. But that's game dev, you know. And then affecting environments that are not updated when the scene's loaded. So these are for villages and the main farm scenes, because the farm scene is the one where the player's house is at, and that's where you're gonna be farming and all of that. And then you have the main village. And since my world is procedural, it loads in those 2 scenes and adds it into the world. and then it does procedure generates around it. But the problem with that is that if I cut down trees for my farm and all of that, it doesn't take account for it, and you save it and you reload the game, it doesn't take those updates. So I fixed it already, but I will need to tested it and double check that it's actually working, and I would like to do that on stream. The other bug that I have is player hair disappears when doing actions. I also fixed that, so we can go over that and test it out. And then you can click on under the corners or cliffs, and the player will traverse to the tile next to it, which is actually not really a bug. It was just a bug, not really a bug with the player movement, but a bug with the visual of the green tile, or the tile that changes color, that tells you as the visual feedback if where the player is going to be going to. It was just not placed in the right correct location. But yeah, we can test all of that stuff today. But I would like to add another thing here. I would like to add and say what I want to do. What I want to, well, you know, I don't want to make it too long. Accomplish. I think I misspelled that. Accomplish wrong. Accomplish before the next devlog, because I haven't done a devlog for a while, and I would like to make an update for that. And if you see my previous devlogs and you've been on my live stream, you'll notice that it looks different. Yes, and I haven't said anything about it. So, but this is something I feel like accomplish looks weird to me, but it doesn't give me any errors in grammar, so I'm assuming that it is correct. But so what I want to accomplish before the next devlog, I definitely would like to, not in particular any order, I would like to get most of the bugs that are mentioned in the bug list to be fixed. It doesn't have to be fully fixed, but at least the majority of the major ones. Because, you know, it's hard for a game to not have bugs. You know, it's kind of impossible. So that's one. The other one is I would like to update the A-star grid to D. For, I guess, everybody. For the player. For player enemies. And NPCs. And there's a problem with it, which is why I didn't really want to test this bug, because there's some bugs with it. And the major bug is with the A-star grid. Every enemy, NPC, and the player has its own A-star grid, but that's not how you want to handle that, especially with a big, like, outer world game that I have, since it's procedurally generated. The problem with that is that every time I'm spawning enemies, they're all spawning the A-star grid, and it's initializing the entire world, all the chunks that are visible, and initializing the A-star grid. So I think that's not the way to implement it when you have multiple enemies. And the main way to handle that is to have like a one A-star grid for everybody to be able to access. So there has to be one A-star grid for everyone to access. Because every time I'm spawning new characters, it lags for a couple seconds. It kind of like freezes up just because it's trying to initialize all the grids and all of that. And I just need it to be just one A-star grid for everybody to access. That's one of the major things that I would like to do. Let's save that. And the other one, I don't know if I want to do this before the devlog, but I would like to just add it for now and bring more life into the world. Because right now there's nothing else. I'd like to add maybe some animals around. They're just like walking around, and some bugs and all of that. I'm not entirely sure why I wanted to add to it, but I would like to create more life into this world a little bit. So actually, this is not like something that is for sure that it needs to be in before the next devlog, but it's something to just add for now. and I believe there was one more before this just came out the last second. There was another one that I wanted to add for enemies and NPCs. Oh yes, disable or remove enemies and NPCs. Well, I don't know if I want to remove them yet, but that's why I said disable NPCs if the chunk they spawned in is gone. And by that I mean that since my game is procedurally generated, it loads the level by chunks. And whenever that chunk disappears or is gone because I went too far away, I need to disable my enemies or NPCs. And those are like the major things. I don't really need to do these two, but if I can do that before the next devlog, that'll be nice. But that's basically all the bugs that I have right now. Bugs and things that I would like to add. But that's basically it. So let's go through these bug lists real quick and figure out if I need to fix them or if they're fixed already. So let's go with the fish spawn. Yes, so let's put that down. Let's get in here and we'll test it out real quick. Alright, let's load the game. End. That's 12 minutes of me going through Trello board. That's crazy. Time flies sometimes, you know, when you're talking. So let's go into a dungeon, which should be on top of here. Oh yeah, there's another thing I need to fix, the bug with the shadows. So yeah, you guys haven't noticed, every time I highlight something, the shadows turn white, and I don't like it. And that's just because the shadows are attached to the trees, and I should just separate them. At least that's what I should be doing. But all right, let's crash. Why was there a crash here? Oh, because of tile data, huh? Oh, trying to assign a value of nil to a variable of bool. Oh yes, you know what, the dungeon, I just added this custom data into my outer world, but I never added it to the dungeon tile maps. Hold on, let me add that in here. Let's find that dungeon scene, and let's add that to the tile custom stuff here. And it looks like I'm missing some too, by the way. All right, so let's add those in here because I added some recently, and I need to make those updates in here as well. Actually, I can put that smaller. All right, so let's go through the custom data and let's add those in there. Yeah, there's 4, so definitely I missed some. There's one that I updated, so it should be this. Dungeon. So I updated the occupier. I don't really need that anymore. I'm not even using it. Okay. You know what? Let's close all of these stuff. I don't really need it right now. Let's just get it in the way. I may need all the other stuff though. There we go. Much better. Cool. Let's go to the 3rd page. Why does the other one have 2, but this one only has? Oh, because it has these other ones. I wish I could just copy this entire thing and paste it in the other one. Because I need to add all of this stuff in there. Right? Or this one too, I think. A resource ID. Yeah, I need to add these 2. There's been a couple things here. I definitely need these in case I want to smash some rocks inside the dungeon. And I don't believe there will ever be trees inside dungeons. Unless it's like, I don't know, that's very weird. Unless maybe there's a light coming in where trees can still survive inside. I don't know. I never played something that has a tree inside a dungeon or a cave. Unless it has no leaves on it, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it has rocks, can be transparent. Yeah, that's a possibility that it can be inside dungeons as well. Yeah, I need to add this entire thing in here. So let's add this, which is a string. Let's add those to the dungeon tile map. This is a string. Let's move it over here so I don't have to like drag it. Add a stage, which is an int. And we got next atlas is a vector 2i. Vector 2i. Is tree, is rock. Hold on, let's copy this one first. Is tree, is rock, and then it's this one. So is tree, which is a bull. And then we have another one, is rock. I was debating changing the is tree, is rock, and is grass to maybe the name will be of type of string instead, and then set it up that way. That way I don't have 3 of them in here. If I do ever come to a point where I'm adding more than 3 now, I think that's what I'm gonna do. And it saves me slots here in custom data layers. So, oh, this is a boolean, sorry. And then the next one is this one. It can be transparent, which is bull as well. And then is grass. So that's one thing I would like to do. So I'm, you know, I already know already. All right. So is grass. And then the last one, which is the one that I crashed on me on. And let's go to the last one. Let's do that. And that is boolean. Oh, you know what? The one I forgot. The one at the beginning when it's opposite is actually not a bool, it's a vector 2i. There we go. Cool. So it shouldn't crash anymore. It should not crash. Let's load in. It's going here. It should technically not crash. Great. Sweet. Alright, so I came here, so what I have to do is see if there's any fishes that are outside. And there is something on top though. What is that? What is that thing on top? Alright. We'll have to move to that location real quick. I created offset to my camera actually. I'm not, am I using offset right now? I just saw it here. Okay. So let's go about negative 800. 1,000. 1,000. Not 100, bro. Come on. 1,000. Let's zoom in. Oh, wait. It looks like it's let's see, negative 800. I think it was 800 probably. Why is this here? Oh, look at that. What is it inside the dungeon though? You know what? Hold on. Is there a way for me to get on top? You know, I think it's part of the dungeon. Why is it? Number is a negative 800. Let's zoom in. Maybe not. I don't see a way to get up there. Maybe up here. Hold on. It could be a part of the dungeon. It's just showing up there. Oh, now I'm gonna have to find a way to get out. Hey. But who knows? Oh, you know what? I can disable this. Is that part of the dungeon now? Yeah. See, it's on top. There we go. Okay. Then it shouldn't be a problem then. I don't see anything outside right now that it is. Alright, let's go back inside. We can come out. Okay, let's put that back in here. Okay, there should be fish spawning. It's dark right now though. Whereas oh, the water's gonna be super dark. You can't see nothing. Are there fishes there? I have no idea if there are. Hold on. What happens if I change it to do that? Oh yeah, there's fishes. I see you now. Look at that. Damn. Damn. I see you guys. So it is working. I am not seeing any fish inside. One last look. One last thing I can do. Because since you can't even see them in there anyway, it's hard to tell if they are in the dungeons or not. One thing you can do, or one thing I can do, I should say, is to look at the pool manager and see if there's any fish. First of all, there's no fish spawners in here anywhere. And then the fishes are all turned off. Yep, there's no fish here. Let's go. Cool. So that thing has been fixed. Alrighty. Let me try to take this off. I don't need it right now. Might be a bug in here. I don't recall seeing these rocks in here before. That's very interesting. Okay. Cool. So let's go to a Trello board. Trello board time. And say that this has been fixed. Let's make it green because I like it to be green. And resolved. Other one I would like to test is this one, the affected environments. So like I said before, we can also tackle this because we're going to be actually doing some actions to attack the tree. So we'll knock out another 2 bugs along the way by doing that. All right. So what I like to do is, but I do know that there are some rocks here spawning out of nowhere. I believe I never seen these 2 before. I don't even know if I ever saw you before. I gotta pay attention to all these stuff. So I'll keep that noted. I'm pretty sure I never saw these 2 because there's a log here. I'm pretty sure there was a tree here before I knocked it down, which is what this log is here for. I don't recall ever seeing 2 rocks there. So that's one thing to look out for. Okay. anyways, what I want to do is to chop down this tree to only show its trunk. But I won't see. I'll have to knock down this one here instead. So let's give it a couple of hits. Gone. So when we come back and load into the game, we should see only this and not back to this. And then we should also see this vlog down here. So let's save it. Let's save. It is Monday. Today is Monday. You know, it is what it is, you know. All right, so let's reload. Let's reload. All right, let me get some chocolate right now. Let's load into the game. Yep, there we go. See, there wasn't a rock here. I knew it. So how did those rocks come in here? Very interesting. But yeah, this one's working. Wasn't there a rock here too? We switched over to this side. All right, I gotta look into the rocks. I think they're not being placed correctly. Maybe they're not using the seed. Very interesting. Something to look out. But you know what? I'm gonna put that in Trello board before I change. I mean, before I forget. So there's another bug here. Rocks are changing locations. Let me just put a note here. Rocks are not in the same location every time. Might be a seed. Might not be using seed. You know, another thing I gotta go look out for is making sure everything else is doing the same. You know, that it is working like it should. We'll keep an eye out. So far we've seen the rocks doing that. We'll double check to see if the other ones are doing it. But cool. I don't know why I turned it away, because I need to Trello board back. So we noticed that this is working. I'll change that to green. I'm knocking bugs right now. Player hair disappears. It doesn't do that anymore. It is back to normal and not automatically just going bald out of nowhere when you had hair before. Let's go to labels. Make that. And then let's try to check to see if I can click under like top corner of cliffs and stuff right now. I wonder if it had to do with when I went inside the dungeon and that's what caused the rocks to go to a different location. Very strange. I've never seen that before. I just noticed it right now. Cool. So I can't click under it. Instead, the tile that highlights is where the player's going to be going to, is where it moved before it was under, and I fixed it by showing the correct setting the correct location for that tile. So now I'm not able to go under it anymore. So cool. Perfecto. So that is fixed. Cool. All right. I know lots of bugs fixed already, which I'm very excited. Look at all these bugs you're fixing. I'm liking the way the game feels now. This is what I was worried about a little bit before, because I wasn't really fixing bugs before. But now that I fixed some bugs in here, definitely starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, I can look into this bug right now, which might be easy to look in, but I really want to do this one here. Hard to pick up items nearby. So like I mentioned before, if you have multiple items in the same vicinity or next to each other, it's hard to pick up an item that you actually want to pick up rather than picking something that you don't want. And what I wanted to do is probably create another UI that pops up. So you got two different options on picking up items. Either you can click E you just pick up the nearby item, or you can hold it and then the UI pops up that shows the nearby items. At least that's something that I would like to do. I don't know if I'll finish it within this stream, but we'll start handling that implementation now and see how that looks like. So every pickable item that are in the game, they have interactable, and this interactable is the one that has all the area 2Ds in it. And when the player goes nearby this trigger volume, it triggers the UI to spawn, which is what this one's doing down here. So when the player enters this area, it will show the UI. So either it'll be like, hey, click E to interact. So this is what is showing the UI for that. And it's setting the focus of this pickable item to the player. Oh, actually, this is the enter, not the exit one. So this one, so it sets the current pickable or interactable to be focused and sets it to the character. So if I press E, it will pick the item up. So what I have to do here, hold on, let me see. The player, does he have any engage interact? So this is when I set the item to be focused to the player, it sets this current interactable that is focused on, and it'll interact with it. And if it's single use, it will set it to null. I'll never bring it up again. Another thing I can do, okay, so let's go to that pickable item. Pickable item is the one that does the unpickup. And this is where I will believe I'll need to handle that case if I am holding E or this action here on this on pickup. Instead of on pickup automatically, if I am holding it, let's look at Godot real quick and making sure that the pickup is on mouse down. Interact E. It's just showing A right now. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So it just knows. It doesn't say if I wanted to do it on the mouse up even, right? Okay. I was just checking. Yes. So I guess that's what we can do right now. So I'll create a boolean, or not boolean, but a tracking. So what I'm thinking about right now is I was gonna add a tracker of time, and if I'm being holding it for this long, then show the UI for all the nearby items, right? The problem that I'm seeing here that I'm thinking about is that if I were to let go, there's no way for me to tell when I let go of this item and to reset that time. So that if I were to hold it again, I need to reset the timer for that. So we have on pickup, an interactable, which to pick up it listens to, so that when I interact with it, it emits a signal, which then the That's what the pickup is listening to. Okay. We can add a signal here so that, well, let's do the one thing that I'm thinking about first. Let's create a bowling, or not bowling, but a float. Let's call it a hold pickup timer. I'll set it to 0. So that means if, wait, hold on, before I even do anything, let's disable this. Is this being called multiple times? Because there's no point on me doing what I'm doing if this is not being called multiple times. So we'll just error log that. And let's see if this is being called multiple times, so it's just a one-time thing. Is the game running? Nope. Cool. Alright, let's go in here, let's run it, and let's see if it's being called or not. Let's change to, oh no, output, I think is fine. I think. Load into the game. So we got a pickable item here. And not calling anything right now. Sadly. I called it here on pickup item. But it's not being called multiple times. As I thought. Oh, you know what? I know why. It's because it's a single use. Hold on. If I were to make it an infinite use, I think it should be fine. Yeah. So let's make that not to be an infinite use type of pickable item. There we go. We got a pickable item. We got the interact circle here. And let's not make that single use. So let's try this again. Let's run it back. It should be fine, because even if it's not a single use, if I automatically just picked it up by just pressing E, it will remove the item from the player focus. So it should still be fine. And then if I hold the E for the UI, then it'll be fine as well. Oh no, it's only being called once. And I guess I'm gonna have to change that. Engage interact, I believe. Is it player controller that I need to do it on? Here, engage interact. It's only doing it. Only this. I'm just debating why it's only calling it once. Or is that how it is handled right now? I think it is. Only see peak. Maybe I should only do is action. Hold on, let's look into the docs, not the online docs. Search help. Input events. What does is action do here? Returns true if the input event matches a predefined action of any type. If the exact match is false, it ignores additional input modifiers, blah blah blah. It's like returns true if the given action is pressed, and it's not an echo event for input key events. Unless allow echo is true. What does echo mean? Alright, here we go. It is echo. Returns true if this input event is an echo event, or only for events of type input key. An echo event is repeated key sent when the user is holding down the key. Okay. How do you set an echo event? It's either that or I may need to use is action. But if I wanted to set it as an echo event, how do I do that? Am I doing that into the event itself? Let's go into project settings, simple map. Does it give me the option? It creates a new action if I wanted to, but it never. Interesting. I'll have to look into that and see what the echo event is. What happens if I just use is echo? I mean, not is echo, is just is action. Would that still work? Hold on, I'm just thinking about it a little bit more. If this is the direction that I want to go in. Because this engage interact is still being used when I'm engaging to NPCs as well. So what happens if I hold that for those? I just want to know if it actually triggers this multiple times. Either that or I'm gonna have to create a new key for this instead. All right, it's built. Let's run it back. Run it back. Should be good. Alright, so I want to know if this is being spammed out. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see it all being spammed. And if I let go of it, it's no more. Yeah, look at all that. Cool. But anyway, the problem with that is this same interact function that I'm trying to do, it will also affect it for NPCs dialogues as well. So what happens if I go near an NPC and I hold E? Will it trigger multiple? I think the better option here is to create a new key for it. Jeez. That requires a little bit thinking on what exactly kind of keys I want to have in this game. Another thing I can do instead of doing this is that when I press E, I can do a quick check to see if there's any more items nearby, and if there is, and instead of picking that item automatically, it brings the UI instead and say, hey, this is the items, which ones do you want to pick up? I think that would be the better option right now, because I don't want to mess up with this function yet. So I'll leave it to how it was before. I'll still leave the pickable item to be infinite use in case I want to bring it back up again. I think that's what I want to do. Okay, I'll figure out what I want to do then. So what we can do, I believe I have a function to determine there's nearby items or not. If I don't, I'm gonna have to create it right now. I believe when I'm trying to drop items, I do check for it. So when I drop an item to the world, I do a raycast and do that. So what I want to do instead is create a function here for that, so I can reuse it for my testing here. Okay, all this stuff is static. So I'll create a static boolean and say it. How do I call this? I'm just gonna check for or any pickable items nearby. And what I need in here is going to be a position. Oops. Vector to position. I don't need an item. I just want to know if there is something here. And I guess all we'll do is just a radius. How far I want this to be. Is it a double or is this? Yes, a radius. It's a float. Radius. I guess this is what I want to do here. So we'll do let's create that. Okay, the only problem here, let me see this. I guess what I would do is just return the recast infos then. Because I need it. Do I need it anywhere else? Yeah, I won't need it to eventually need it in here. So what I can do is just return this instead. Or I could have two different functions that does this. So it's kind of similar, but that requires duplicate code. I don't want to have two different checks for that. Yeah, I think it still work. Hold on. If I ever do want to use it outside, I can do this one though. Oops, that's not what I meant. I meant to do this. We'll figure something out right now. Hold on. So we'll have two different functions for these. Right, is this one's gonna cry about? Oh, it doesn't know what. It doesn't know what raycast info is. Is raycast info a struct or a class? No, I actually don't need to be. I don't need to put it in here because it's not a pointer to the raycast infos. I can make it to a pointer if I want. I really don't want this including here. Okay. And yeah, it has a vector here, so that's fine. Oh, okay, so you cannot. Okay, you can't do that. I remember Oh, see, maybe that's in C#. Yeah, it's talking about you can't have the same name functions or anything like that and differentiated by type. That's what it's trying to say to me right now. And I don't know how to spell either, by the way. Yeah, this is gonna work just fine. And I can put get pickable items nearby. I'll do that. I was thinking maybe putting this as a return value here as a ref. But the problem is that I will have to create this function, this vector every time I call this function somewhere else, and I don't want to do that. So I think this is probably the best option here right now. I'll probably come back and fix that if it ends up being a problem. So let's revert that back. We'll create this function here as well. Cool. And what I wanted to do is basically just grab all of this stuff here. Actually, it's not even that big, huh? I was thinking if it's that, this gets regardless, he just returns the pointer to that. I mean, not the reference to the raycast infos, which then passes the radius in here. And that's all he needs, or at least what I'm trying to do here, because then here I'm looping through all of that. And is it okay if I were to just call that? Because it's not like it's a huge thing. I thought I had to copy this entire thing, and I don't need to. I may not even need this function here. So all I need to do is I can just return this instead. Yeah, sorry for thinking about that a little bit more than I should have. I really wanted to keep that a little bit clean, but that's only because I thought this entire thing was something I needed to take out from here. Cool. So this returns true if there's anything in here, right? So if I peek that, returns true if there was something, at least something it collided with. Okay. Cool. So what I wanted to do in here, I still need this. Ay. Because I need to know what items are nearby. Ay. What's wrong with me today? Oh, it's too early, guys. It's Monday morning. I still need this function because I need to call it. It's too early, guys. I'm sorry. So this is what I can do. Regardless, if I mean, we need to check for, and I just returned this. What I don't need is probably this instead. That's what I don't need. Do I even need? Yeah, you know what? I'm removing that one. Yeah, it's too early. Early and no food yet. Okay. So we can get this. And then we can just say, hey, equals this. With the radius. Oh, it's position 2. Oops. Oops. So it gives me those raycast infos. Now I don't need to check for that again. In here. Cool. So that should be back to I wanted it here. So there's a physics raycast collision and return stat. And that's what I wanted. So that impeccable item. We can do I have an inventory manager here? Got a resource manager. I do not have an inventory manager here. There we go. Inventory manager. So what I want to do is just say raycast infos, ray info, rate hit infos, or just rate hits. It's an inventory manager. That's a static, so all I need to do is get any, or do I need get? I mean, this is a static function. I don't really need to. Did I miss something? Okay, there we go. We can grab the position of this item. It's there. It's a global position, and then do a radius in here. What? A tile 16. How many tiles do I want it to check? 16. Multiply that by how many tiles I want around it. Distance away. I think 2 is fine. Just like how the inside was. It's 2 tiles radius. I can always increase this to be a little bit bigger. And then if the size of this ends up being bigger than 1, it has to hit itself. So I want it to be bigger than that. If it is, then this is where I will emit a signal or something to show UI for all nearby items. Otherwise, revert back to just picking the item automatically. Just like this. So we'll emit the callback there. I think that's what I want to do. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Pickable item in inventory manager. Create the pickable items in here. I can connect it in here if I want. And have another connection. I could probably change this to be a... No, yeah, maybe. I can change it to a connect or something where I want it to connect to a UI name to something, and then have a little callable. I believe this will be in a UI manager here. So let's hook up the, include the UI manager. I believe it's under singletons, UI manager. We'll do a get for that, and then we'll name a name for this function. And it's gonna be on show nearby items. I think that's the same thing I want to do for the events. Use me. Button. Yeah, we'll just add it in here. Well, I think I can just call it the same signal. I can probably just do it the same format as the others, so. Go nearby items. And instead I'm probably gonna say UI, so it knows that this is part of the UI. Okay, so I can then say, oops, events, do that. So now in my UI manager I have to show that, but let's call this and emit this event in my pickable item. So emit signal. That's all I need to do. Actually, I would like to see, can I pass up? That's another problem I have here. I have this here. This collides. I can grab this pickable item, iterate through them. I mean, the problem I'm thinking, no, not thinking, but I'm seeing right now is that there's no way to pass in my stuff. Yeah, I don't think that Godot knows how to send an STD vector outside of this. I believe it's gonna cry on me. I'll try it, but I'm pretty sure Godot does not know how to send it over. Or, oh, but hey, correct me if I'm wrong though. Correct me if I am wrong. If it doesn't know how to do it, I think my best bet that I have in here is to iterate through all of these and convert this to dictionaries instead. That I can pass in through here if I wanted to go in that direction. I really don't want to call UI manager here because I don't want to make it a dependency for pickable items. Okay. So we'll try it out and see if it actually works. Okay, let's go to my UI manager. And let's create that function. Let's create that function. Let's move this over here. Where's my inventory manager? I'll name this function here in my UI manager. I also have to create that signal, by the way. I haven't done it yet. I created a function, but I need to hook it up. Well, put it in here and show nearby items. And theoretically, if it ends up working on sending it correctly, or I'm wondering if yeah, let's just see if it works first. I don't think it knows what this raycast info is right now, so I'm gonna have to pass in ray hit infos. So let's I didn't put it back. Hold on. Interesting. Where is rate hit info is coming from? Is that its own struct? Eek. It is. It's under raycast info. Under utils. I swear I checked that and it didn't even show there. Fun. Okay. Fun. Include utils raycast info. We'll include that, so that's in here and it's all good. We'll create that function. We'll create a callback for it. I need to change all of these to use this bind method. One per parameter name, and then the function for it. So I would like to pass in this. Parameter name. I'm just gonna, not parameter name. Go right nearby items, and then just rate hits in here. Cool. So I'm buying that method. What I want to know here is if raycast its size is greater than 0. And I just say, hey, error log. We have items. Totally misspelled that, but that's okay. I'll leave it like that. And the last thing I need to do is to hook up that signal in here properly. Oh, this is just passes a signal into it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'll add signal params. There we go. And I just pass in the signal name, which is just event. Show nearby items. Right, that's what I wanted to do. Yes, there we go. So we added that signal. And let's build this. And let's see if it somehow works. I don't think it's gonna work. It doesn't know how to send that vector. That's what I'm thinking in my mind right now. It doesn't know how to send that vector into the emit function like I thought. There we go. Getting this huge error log. Yeah, see, it doesn't know how to send it. So that's the problem. So the other option that I was thinking is to change to a dictionary instead. Yeah, that's gonna suck though. I don't know how bad that's gonna be, casting all of this stuff. So looping through all my items here. I get the item. So this is what I want. We'll make it work, and then we'll figure out how to make it better. Alrighty. So what I gotta do here is get tree. Actually, hold on, I'm trying to think right now. So here I'm calling it rate. I thought I grabbed all of that stuff. I did not grab this part. Rates. So I want to do here is do that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't know what get tree. Yeah, it doesn't know what get tree. I don't even need to get tree here actually. No. I can just do that. So I got this pickable item in here, which returns that item here. And what I need is I need a Godot dictionary. Nearby items. Is it an or a pand? How do I, oh, you know what? Or actually probably may want an array here instead. Instead of a dictionary. I want an array of dictionaries. It's not even possible. Oh no, it should be typed, right? Type dictionaries. Typed array. And let me say Godot dictionary. And what I want to do is do an append item to dictionary. So we'll convert that dictionary, item to a dictionary. And why is it not letting me do that? No server can reverse to avoid to a variant. Oh, that's fine. I have it wrong. It's a little bit backwards here. I need to create that dictionary here. Item big. Retrieve that dictionary, and then we can pass that in here. And only emit this function if there's items nearby, which there should be because I'm going through this pickable item. So if it's not empty, we can then emit this function and pass in this item dictionary here. And what I want to do in the other one here, instead of doing this, will be a typed array of nearby items here. So we gotta change that accordingly to the UI manager. Where did it go? Here. Give me a second. Cool. Let me double check that everything is what I want it to be at. Okay. So let's build this bad boy. Let's build this bad boy. Cool. All right, let's go in here. All right, let's run it and let's test it out. We want to see an error log saying, hey, do you have multiple items nearby? At least that's the plan. But I don't expect it to work right away. But we'll see what's up. I don't think I have an area where I have multiple items nearby. So what I can do is to drop some items. I'll drop this, so there's 2 nearby, right? So we got a log, we got a torch. We're going nearby. We have items. Let's go. There we go. We have items. I misspelled that, but it looks like we have some items in here. Let's go. Yeah, it's getting spammed. Sweet. Okay. We're just getting there. I expected it to have not worked right away, but it looks like it's looking fine. Getting a call. I don't want to answer it right now. Don't know who you are. Cool. So it's admitting here that we have some items in that dictionary now. So what I want to do in here, which I will need to do first, is that I need to create the UI for what we want to show in here. So let's create the UI for that. Let's create the UI for that. Oh, I'm just trying to see how I want this UI to look like. So we have some UI stuff in here. At the hotbar if I wanted to. Yeah, I may have to create a class. Do I want to create a class? I think I do. I think I do. Alright, so I have all this UI here. I'm just trying to get some references to see how I want stuff to be handled. They all have their own little classes on top. So let's create that UI for that. So do I want it to be in a certain folder right now? I'm gonna call it like UI nearby items. Inventory. It's not really an inventory. I'm just gonna call it UI nearby items. Menu or panel. There we go. UI nearby item panels. Alright, so that's what I'm gonna call it. So let's create a new item. We call it UI nearby items panel. And this is CPP, which is fine. And then we'll create a new one for the H. Cool. Cool. And before I forget, because I always forget, is I need to add it to my register types in here. So what I want to do here is include UI nearby items panel .h, and then register it down here. Register. It's gonna have an error because I haven't created classes yet, but it should come back to normal. Cool. So we'll do namespace, Eden. We'll do a class. It needs to be with something inherited by. Let's see some examples in here. You have a UI trader, which is a canvas layer. Most likely will probably be a canvas layer, if I'm not mistaken. So, if I'm not mistaken, it may be a UI canvas layer. Inventory. This is a control though. But I believe canvas layer gives me a little bit more. Let's look into it. Let's create that scene first. So let's create a new scene. We'll create another node. We'll call it, let's see, canvas layer. Would it be a control? Because I want this to be like a world UI, not a screen space. Not that it's mattering here, but so this just tells me what layer it can be on. What about a control node then? What does that give me? Any additional stuff? I mean, it tells me the texture for it. Gives me all this other stuff. I may do control actually. It's giving me more stuff in here to do in the canvas layer. Give me a second. I don't really care about UI def though. I'm gonna turn that off. I remember there was a thing that I had to do before, like this. I had to create this own canvas layer, because then my world environment will affect this UI, and I don't want to do that. So maybe I should just leave it and then do a control within it if I wanted to. We'll give that a try. Let me just remove all of this stuff here because I don't need it right now. Cool. So we can just leave it like this for right now. And then we'll do add a child on 9 patch rect for go to UI. Anything here that I can reuse. I can make it as a background white and then change the color of it if I wanted to. Question is, let's look at the player real quick. Let's drop the player in here just to have a reference of how big this should be. But again, this is the screen size though, right? The question is, how big do I want the screen size for it to be? This is why UI gets all messed up, because you're resizing the wrong thing. Need to resize the control node. Let's make this to be centered. And this is the screen, right? The blue line. And I want this to be a lot smaller, actually. It doesn't need to be that big. I would like for this to also have how did I handle the slots for my inventory? Are there multiple? Is there a grid? Because I want that to be similar to how the UI inventory is. Oh, okay, so it's a grid container. Is that what it's named? Grid container. Okay, and we have a right. We have a grid container on top of that. We got a control. We have a panel that goes over to the top of that, and then we have a grid container. Okay, that's what I want. According to this, it always had a control panel before it. That should be fine. We'll try it out. So this 9 patch rack, I'm gonna just name it as the background, right? That'll be the background, and then it should be a grid container here, where I want this to include all the UI for everything that's going to be in here. So in my case, it can be like UI inventory slots, which is exactly what I want to do, right? So let's fix that so it goes to the right instead. I believe it's under layout or something. Where inherited left to right? Nope, that's not what I wanted. There has to be a way to change this so that it is the other way. Constants. Oh, columns. There we go. How many can fit in here? I mean, so what I'm thinking about is like, I don't know how many items are going to be in here before it decides to say, hey, you can't have any more items in here. That is the problemo. Do I want this many items in here? I think you could fit one more in there. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. That is the problemo that I have in here. I mean, I can only show this and then have some like descriptions in the bottom, which means that I need a vertical or V. Is it V container? V box container. This is the vertical container, right? So I'll need to put that in there and then add. You know what I can do? I can just add a control. Well, probably most likely I have to add this as a control. Reparent to new node. Reparent. No. Reparent to new node. Let's make it a control. That. There we go. So I have more control over it. And we'll move over this a little bit. I'll move over. And move over. Make it 16 for now. Make it 20. I believe there should be enough padding at the other side. Yeah, let's make it 20 as well on the top. I need to fix that so that it is so because of that, I want this to do that, but I need to fix this so that it's not like that. Does this give me, or this is, I could do what I want, but I don't want it to be centered though. Even though I did say this, what if I do that instead? Now, what is the height of this? Does it give me the heights? 36. Oh, it's most likely what I wanted it to be at as well. And minimum should also be 36 here. But this can be bigger because I can add more slots, so right. But yeah, this is not what I wanted to do because it keeps going up. So what I wanted to do is to stay in that location. It keeps going here. So is there a way to keep this in the top corner? I mean, I can do that. And then do that, and then I have another one down here. Put it as 36 for now. The only thing I have, the only problem with us because of this, this needs to increase a lot higher to determine it. How can I resize this? Expand. So it takes over everything else. Yeah, but I don't wanna keep doing that though. Yeah, it clips contents outside of this. That's not what I want. There's gotta be a way to make this fill the entire area of its children's contents, just like how Unity does it. I will always get confused on this. Because I am unaware of how this works right now. Yeah, so the control nodes for everything. We got a background, and then we have this, but this needs to resize accordingly. Unless I can just say do that instead, you know, but that doesn't look right to me. Then we have this control node that I want it to be a minimum of 36 times 3. I think that's as much as we can have in here. And everything else can be clipped out. Yeah, so then this is set correctly. Problem that I have with this is it probably needs a little bit more breathing room. Right, so if there were 36 each, we may have some padding with each other. So let's say, I'll leave it as that. We'll test it out afterwards. And then in here, I would like to have a label. We'll work on anchoring it afterwards. We gotta make it work first, and then we'll test out the anchoring afterwards and see how that looks like. And this is where the description will be. So this will be like a description label. A description label. And this just can be just enough to go all the way down here. And we can clip anything after outside of that. Same thing with this. We can clip anything outside of that as well. Cool. So we'll test this out. We'll make everything else work like it should work. This was just for testing purposes only. I'll leave it like that. Alright. Hold on, before I even do that. Let's open my... Let's go back to this and let's figure out what we need in here. So we're gonna need... Let's do another namespace. Godot. And what we want in here is we definitely need a class of a grid container. Class of label. Those are the two things that we need. Like for sure. Okay. Got control wheel. Create this class in here for UI inventory items. We'll need this. I don't know why that one isn't protected. We should leave that in private actually. I definitely want to clear any items that are going to be on there. The majority of the stuff is kind of similar. We gotta have it ready to initialize our items in. And then we have this grid container that we can populate our things with. And then item description, that's perfect. Okay. And I don't even know if I need an on visuals update. I think what I'm gonna do instead, actually no, let's revert up and change the name of it. Display items. Yeah. Void. I want to have a show in here. I don't, right? I'll handle that in a UI manager. Okay, so we have these three right now. Well, actually set up this first before I call that UI nearby items panel. And then we can create these functions. Let's create those functions. Alright, so let's move this over here. I'm using this as a reference since it's somewhat similar. So we need this grid container. And we're gonna need the label. We got some defines on top. And I don't know if I'll need constants actually. I do need an inventory slot. I'm not going to be dragging items from here, so I don't need a dragging control. Resource manager, yes, I will need a resource manager to load those images that I need. Those textures. I think that should be about it. Oh, you know what? I forgot one last thing. Well, actually, no, I don't need it. I can iterate through grid control, right? A container, I mean. I thought I was going to need an array, but I can iterate through all of this. Which... yeah, exactly what I wanted to do here. We can have this clear here. Exactly what I wanted. So once I display this stuff, I want to make sure, well, it doesn't really matter if it's visible. We'll go through here, we clear it. So every time we display items, actually we need to pass in that Godot typed array of Godot dictionary. Items. So this is what I want to name it. I'll come in here, and now we have an array of these stuff, which I didn't want to initialize afterwards. So I want to create 8. So what I want to do here is for wait, hold on. This is a type dictionary. Yeah, it's an array, right? Should be fine. Int I equals 0, I is less than items big dot size. We iterate through that, and then we create that inventory prefab for it that we will be instantiating I guess I do need some type of prefab in here, huh? I think what I should do instead of doing this, well, one, I could have an inspector and set it up that way. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things I can do. I'll leave that on top, and I do need that pack scene, I guess. Leave that there. So now I have this, which is a slot, which I can create now. And then I do need it, so it listens to items that are entered. When my mouse has exited, I believe, do I even need the mouse exit? I don't need dragging stuff, so I'll ignore those events. Yeah, I guess I do need it. Yeah, I want to keep track of items that I selected. I am missing one thing though, and that is the buttons to, like, say I want to pick up this item or I just want to leave it there. That is one thing I am missing. And then we have constants that I actually do need. That's why it's giving me those errors there. And I need to actually grab these to be able to get my, yeah, let's get those names. So this one is just called grid container, I guess. That one's description label. Description label. All right. So we have all of this stuff in here. Do I need anything else? I don't need to connect. I guess I do need to connect to inventory update. But right now I don't want to worry about it just yet. I just want to display all the items that are nearby. That's what I want to do first. And I need to add it to the grid container for displaying purposes. Okay, now that I have that, I need to go back to my UI manager. I'll create a class of this. I'll have a pointer to this, which is just a nearby items panel. I'll set that to a null pointer. And then we'll have it so it shows void show nearby items panel, which includes the Godot typed array, all Godot dictionaries. And then we have another function that says hide nearby items panel. Okay. Okay. I saw something move here. There it is. Actually, I don't even need that. This already is doing it for me, right? So I don't even need to show this at all. I'll leave the hide one instead. You know what? I'll keep it separate. In case I want to use it for something else. Yeah, I'll leave it separately. So in here instead, I'll probably just say, hey, show nearby items panel or the dictionary. And I don't even need to do this at all. or I can. Where are those functions I just created? Where do you go? There you go. All right, so we go to nearby items panel. We'll say, hey, if it's this, we'll say, hey, display. Oh, I need to include on top too. Include UI nearby. Oops. Let's just include that for right now. And here is display items, which you pass in that dictionary, and it will make it visible. For true. And the same thing the other way, but it will just disable the visual of it. Okay. And then the last thing I need to do, well, not last thing, there's a lot of other stuff I need to add, but I need to actually hook it up so it finds my node correctly. And I think I'll just call it the same thing, UI nearby items panel. So I hooked it up, so every time I come here it shows that, right? It shows the panel. It displays the item, so it adds it to the grid container. It creates it, adds it to the grid container. I don't have these functions yet, so I guess that's the one thing I can add in here. Or add those slots. So in here, nearby, I'll add those slots. And I need a class for this in here, so I don't have to get errors afterwards. Well then, create those functions. Why are you crying about it now? What are you crying about? Incomplete type not allowed. What is an incomplete type not allowed here? I just made a... I probably did, and it's just bugging out, I think. Bind method will param. Well, name function parameter, and then the name of the callback function pointer. And the name for this, and it's called a UI slot in here. I'll do it twice because of the other one that I just am exiting on, and it should be golden. I'm hoping that there isn't any errors in here though. And this should be that. I'm just trying to see why it's spying on me right now. Is it just a Visual Studio thing? Yeah, see, it disappeared now. Cool. I believe this is what I have to do to make it work. So if I were to build it, and if I don't get any error logs, we'll see what's up. Whew. I haven't eaten anything, guys. I gotta eat something. Oh, let me get a bite of my cookie. I haven't eaten a cookie at all. Alright. So now that is working, clear all that. Not rename. I mean, maybe I do, but it's nearby items here already. Yes, let's go. And I'm gonna name it the same way, actually. I'll name it the same way. And I'll name it under scenes and UI. UI nearby's panel, save, perfecto. Then now that I'm here, I gotta go to UI manager and add it in here. Oh yeah, hey, this does it alright, so I don't even need to do it. Okay, good to know. I may not even need to inherit some canvas. Alright, well, something I can fix later on. Okay. Well, let's run it. Let's see if it even works at all. All right, so let's go on top of here. We'll be like, okay, let's drop that little bad boy. I don't know if it was too far or not. Ugh. Okay, well, it's not showing correctly. I want it. Maybe I didn't populate. That's why. I didn't populate it, right? I did not. That's why. So I connected. And then I want to set the item here. Yep, I didn't actually do this at all. Perfecto. Perfecto. Okay, so we have an item that we want to get in here, and I want to say item from dictionary, which then reads it from this list that I have on top. Right, and then okay, great. All right, so before I even run it again, let me double check that I'm not missing anything else. So set item, set slot index. That's actually not that I need it because that's for dragging purposes and stuff, but I'll add it just to be safe. Index in here. I guess so. It could be some items that never get initialized correctly, but it shouldn't be the case in my here because I'm displaying all of them. So the slot index should be that. And that should be it. So let's try that out. Let's build that. Right now there's no way to escape it anyway, so I may need to, there's some buttons I'm missing that I need to add. And the question now is figuring out if I want to disable the player movement. Try to make it as a world canvas instead, so that the UI stays down wherever I clicked on earlier. Questions right now. All right, so let's drop this again. So now we have both of those items, right? There we go. And it tells me, hey, there's 36 of these wood in here. So what I want to do in here is be able to add buttons. So add a button down here to say when I select this item, well, of course I gotta show that it's selected and be like, hey, add to inventory or something, or just call an add, and then probably have a close button here, and then determine if I want to pause the player, because right now the player can move at any time. I need to pause it, which shouldn't be that a big problem. But the other thing, if I don't want it to pause, I will need to make this as a world canvas so it stays in wherever I set the position of the world canvas, and it will stay there. So it will stay down here, right? And it will stay. If that's the case, maybe I need to make it smaller. But anyways, at least it gives me items that are nearby, which is exactly what I wanted to do. What happens if I keep pressing I? Okay, so I can keep pressing I and refresh the list. which is exactly what I need to do. So after I select this and press add, I need to remove it from the world and then update this so the update takes effect. So at least that's the plan that I would like to do. But and timer is running out, but you guys got to see what I'm doing here. I'm still debating that this is how I want it to look like, which was the main reason that's why I was just thinking too much, because I need to figure out if this is how I want the UI to look like. Like my UI needs a big overhaul on a lot of places. Can I show that? No. So let's reload this. I need to make some UI art for the UI. That one that fits my game or this game. Have that in a good spot. I'm wondering if that's something I should have before the dev blog. But that's what I like to do with this this live stream, so that I can do the art. I could do art and then best of my abilities, right? Be able to create the art myself. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, my UI needs a complete overhaul. I don't want this to look like this. I'm displaying the wrong character here. So this needs like a complete overhaul of the UI. Other than that, I think it's in the right, it's going in the right direction. I am liking I'm able to see because I can't pick up this, right? Because it's full. Actually, it's a good point. Let's test that out. Does that still work? So if I were to drop this in here, yeah, because it's nearby, isn't it? So that's crazy. Actually, you know what? Let's look into that. Is that a decent amount of? Yeah, it was just almost one tile, right? That's one, and then two. Yeah, that's considered two. Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent distance. It's basically, oops. It's basically this radius in here. That's not too bad. Maybe I can make it smaller, just one tile away instead. So it's just this vicinity, but who knows? All right. Well, that's basically about it. What I want to do in this stream. I'm already cutting it already. I'm just going through this stuff right now and see if there's anything else I would like to do here. I'll clean it up today, so by the next live I will be able to have it in a good place. Sorry, I was thinking when I'm going live next. It might be tomorrow. It might be on Tuesday if I'm not doing anything Tuesday. Whew. Alright, guys. It is getting there. I've done a lot of stuff, a lot of bugs been fixed. We got all of this stuff. I gotta figure out what I want to do with this. And in the initial, I mean, it looks pretty cool though, right? The main idea for this though was to be like storage stuff outside of your farmhouse. You got all of this stuff here that, I mean, this is your farmhouse for a time being. It looks like you got stuff that are destroyed on top. You will start off as your farm being destroyed, and as you keep playing, you'll find upgrades and how to fix your house or your farmhouse. So we'll start off like a little bit. It'll probably be a little bit more destroyed than what you're seeing right now. I just need to make the UI for it, which I don't have right now. But so far, looking good. I was able to implement something here. It was a little bit slow just because I was trying to think how I want this to look like. But I got it to work, which is great. And I would love to keep going though, but it's already late. I'd like to keep going and maybe fix this shadow on the bottom. You know what, let's at least remove the shadow from the trees. Shouldn't be that difficult, I think. Let's see. We can go through here. So you can notice that they all have shadows in here. What I can try is just remove all of this. Let's remove it. I'll just want to see how it looks like. I'll bring it back. Actually, no, isn't there a way to delete all of this stuff without needing to do all that? Hold on. We got, there we go. That's what I was thinking about. So, let's look into that and see how that looks. Oh, here we go. Look at that. So that looks a lot better. It's crazy that it did it automatically, right? The game was running and it still did it. That's actually pretty sweet. But as you can see, it highlights a little bit better. I will need to create a shadow below it separately, and that gives me a little bit more control when it comes to day and night cycles, because when it's at night, there really isn't a shadow in there, right? Technically. I think the player also needs a shadow below it. I'm just trying to think. I was trying to think how I'm handling that shadow thing. I may need to change the C index on the shadow, but then again, how will it animate it? Should it animate with the tree? Because you can see that tree animates a little bit. Not right now though. You're not seeing, it's all still right now because there's technically no wind for whatever reason right now. But anyways, that's basically about it, guys. I would love to keep going, but it's already, you know, it's already could be lunchtime. I had no breakfast at all. I woke up, got dressed, prepared my morning, like brush my teeth and everything, make chocolate, you know, and that's basically it. I jumped into this and now I'm here and it's almost lunchtime. So, but anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching this video, especially if you're watching this later on. If you guys have any feedback or anything in that way, feel free to post it in the comments. I'll definitely be reading it. And let's see how it goes. You know, I'd love to see what you guys are thinking about this game. And if you're new here, feel free to watch my other devlogs. I hope you guys enjoy that. As always, feel free to give me feedback. And if you want to join me on this journey, feel free to subscribe, follow. I will be doing this a little bit more often. And hopefully I can get most of you guys in here in the future as I keep making more lives in here. But cool guys. I hope you have a great day, a wonderful night, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Alright then guys, signing out.